As you all know, the Who and How Club is sponsored by BetterHelp. I've shared my journey to therapy on countless episodes of the show, and I've also shared my journey through my social media platforms, through my stories, sharing information and things that I've learned throughout my countless therapy sessions that I've had with my therapist, just to inspire those who may be afraid to start their journey the way that I have. So if you're ready to start your journey today, I would say BetterHelp is the best way to start. What you will do is go to their website, betterhelp.com. And actually, if you do betterhelp.com/whohow, it'll bring you to our landing page and it'll allow you to get a special discount on your first month. So go to betterhelp.com/whohow. And what you'll do is you'll answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will then match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with challenges just like yours. You'll be matched to a therapist, usually within 48 hours, so you could get started right away. And then on top of that, you could actually do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, whatever you're most comfortable with when it comes to interacting with your therapist. It's actually the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. So just let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Once again, visit betterhelp.com/whohow, and or you could click the link directly in our show notes and the description of today's episode. All right. Today's a special episode. It's actually a guest spot. As you all know, the guest spot episodes are when I make an appearance on someone else's platform. They interview me, they sit and talk, pick my brain on certain things, and I get to share more pieces about who I am and how I became who I am, which is what the Who and How Club represents. All right. Enjoy today's episode. Once again, that's betterhelp.com/whohow, and begin your journey to therapy today. And I'm about to get back into my journey. In fact, I'm looking for a new therapist. So we'll be on this newly found journey together. All right. I love you all. Thank you, club members. Keep supporting the show and the platform. Click the links in the description today. And enjoy today's guest episode. We'll talk in a week. One.
Hey everybody, it's your boy IconNick back at it again with a new episode. Today's episode.
We're starting already?
Yeah. Let me intro you, my guy. Let me intro you. Okay. Today will be a great episode. It's episode 3. I have another guest with me, another podcaster, also another, I won't say influencer, but a person that, is in that general field. Creator. Thank you for my guy. Let me do it. I got you. Don't worry.
I know you.
Okay. So also he is on his own podcast, the Who and How Club. Talks about a lot of more of like serious stuff, unlike me, where I talk about a lot of pop culture. And we're comic book buddies. We met at our local comic book shop, Red Nails. We're Red Nail Bros.
Yes.
Right? So I would like you to introduce you guys to Arys, who is also the creator of the Who and How Club, and also on YouTube with it as well, too.
Yes.
Arys, would you like to add anything to that?
Wait, the first thing I'd like to say, we're doing this in the car right now.
Oh, Jesus
We're doing
Christ.
it mobile. Can you shut the door? Because it's not shut. That's why these lights are.
I swear I shut the door. Is it shut now?
Now it's shut.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes,
Anyway.
Yes. Nick, thank you so much for having me. I feel honored to be on your show. I'm so happy.
Welcome.
No, thank you for having me. Yes.
Just to add some contrast, guys, he drives a very American car with very little leg space.
A transformer is what we like to call it.
Oh,
the Batmobile.
Your version of the Batmobile?
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So.
Congrats on the new show, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm proud of you. I'm so happy.
I feel the love. I feel the love. But yeah, Arys.
Yes, sir.
So, I kind of have a segment that I kind of started.
Yes.
And you are now the second person that I started this with. But before I start that, we're going to change up the little things.
How did the last episode go anyway? I didn't get a chance to listen to that one.
No worries. So I had another content creator.
Yes.
Who's also a good friend of mine, got me into being on YouTube and not being so, I would say, shy to do content, because I was always like finicky about that kind of stuff, right? he got me into doing it, and we hit it off. We became really good friends. Like, honestly, it's felt like we've known each other. It's like one of those things that clicked. And honestly, we are so alike, but we are so different at the same time. So that episode, I really did enjoy doing it. And I think I want to kind of keep doing it with the people I feel like I have different opinions with and stuff like that.
And connections and stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of fun messing with people to ask them about like a play on word with the name that I have.
Yeah.
So I kind of call this segment kind of like iconic things or most iconic things.
Yes.
But with you, because I know you talk more about like serious stuff, and like I appreciate the stuff that you do because like, I know you're within like the
social services.
Thank you for correcting me on that. The social service, because like it was something I was passionate when I was younger. Yeah. Right. Especially with the way I grew up, and I know a bit of like your back history because I've asked you and stuff like that. So I feel like you're doing great work with that, and there needs to be more people like you. In a sense. That. Yeah. So we're gonna start this off.
Brought out the notebook.
Yeah, I brought out the leather notebook.
Good. I like this. Indiana Jones over here.
Oh God, yeah. Don't even get me started. The irony is, I share the same birthday as that guy.
As Harrison Ford?
Yes, we share the same birthday. Okay, so Arys, this one's gonna be a nuanced question, as my other friend likes to say it. So, what is the most iconic thing to you in just like a general aspect that you can remember? What was something that sticks with you?
Something that sticks with me, and this could be from childhood.
Anything. What's iconic to you? That guy's got some serious bass, guys. That's what happens when we're mobile.
Iconic. I mean, something like growing up, right? Don't judge though.
I'm not gonna judge. Do I look like the judgment type?
Yes.
I'll judge you, but
You've been judging me all day with my comic books, man.
No, my guy. I know you were. I know you were struggling, but I'm gonna call you out. Your comic books were all over the place. It looked like you were like trying to file them, but it went horribly wrong.
It went wrong. We got somewhere with them, but I'm backed up. So
no, hey.
Give me more context.
So what I think,
iconic piece.
Yeah. So when I think of iconic, because for you, I'm gonna make it.
But I will share what just came to my mind. But dig.
So what I mean, because like I asked my friend this question from the previous pod, it's a very nuanced, as what he likes to say. And when I say this, what I mean is like something iconic. It could be like TV show. It could be something that happened. It could be something you personally do with yourself, right? Like. It's like such a broad question, and it's just like a great way to start a conversation, because it's for me, I just thought of the question and just clicks.
Okay.
So what was the thing that was on your mind?
The thing that popped into my mind when you asked this question was, and I don't think I've really shared this with anyone. When I was younger, when I realized how much I think at some point as a kid, you start to realize what you're getting into.
Yeah, you're finding yourself.
What you're interested in, like what shows you like, cartoons. Oh, you like
You're building
cartoons.
a personality?
Your personality, right? And I always had like an artistic mind. I know that for sure. That I know. I loved colors. I love to color. I love to draw. But I would watch shows or like cartoons or my favorite movies, like the Ninja Turtles movie, and I would.
Wait, we're talking about the early '90s ones, where the one with the costume. Okay, I gotta give you respect on that. My dad showed me that. I think that came out the same year I was born.
91.
I was 94, so like it was in that era.
Oh shoot, we're 5 years apart.
Yes, my guy, we're that old.
Lord.
God, we're old.
Oh my Lord.
And here's the thing: I watched that movie as a kid.
We're not that old though, but I think.
Hey, inside, I feel like I'm still like 19.
Yeah, facts. Me too.
But So
I would watch those. I would watch those shows and like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles.
We're already starting off a good side. I'm like
Mortal Kombat, whatever. But
a little violent, don't you think?
100%. But I would like redraw those movies as like a comic book form. So I would remember the movie back to front, the dialogue and everything, and then I would draw it out, or I would have like my action figures and I would act those movies out.
Oh, so in like a way you would like play what you knew or saw, and then artistically kind of project your version of it, which is still pretty good.
Well, no, like back to back. Like
So
I would
would you-
remember dialogue of movies and TV shows
that's
and play with my action figures or even markers. Like I would take colorful markers and just
You mean you had an imagination and then like I'm not gonna lie.
I would take the markers and they would fight together.
Yeah, hey, dude, when you're a broke kid and like whatever you have in hand's reach, imagination kicks in. I can tell you right now, I used to play like, you know the expression like playing with sticks and stones?
Yeah.
Right? I still like remember like, you know, my dad was the type of guy to be like, he's okay with you being inside.
Yeah.
But he was very like,
Go outside.
he's like, you need to experience outside. Especially
Go climb a tree.
He's like, yeah, go climb a tree, go climb a rock or some shit.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like I've had like some very iconic things with my father. It's funny. But yeah, no, I completely understand. It's a very unique way to be artistic and very, very creative because like, I feel like now these days, it's very hard for people to be artistic because like everyone's very influenced about stuff. It's okay to be influenced by stuff, but it's better to like always put your spin on it. And like, you know, in a way that also can help you with like remembering certain stuff, especially like it could be like a social skill. A lot of people don't really think about it, right? They don't use like, I would say like that artistic style in the sense, right?
We are influenced by a lot. Like we're distracted a lot, I feel.
It goes like this. There is such thing as good and bad distractions with anything within moderations. It's great to have something that you're passionate about and you care about, and you can take the moral lessons and take the good from it and don't need to take from the bad, right? Like, great example. I'll use this as a great example. Power Rangers. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the original Power Rangers. That's where like
Mighty Morphin.
Mighty Morphin. Yeah. So as an example, like we'll use the famous Green Ranger, R.I.P. Jason David Frank.
Yes.
Like how he became evil, but it wasn't really his choice, right? He was kind of forced into it. Yeah. But he did like redemption where he's like, you know, I accept what I did was bad and I'm gonna be a better person for it. Yeah. And as he progressed in the story, he became a leader. He had to make hard choices and, you know, he came back, lost his powers, but he still wanted to make that difference, right? So like, I took that lesson as like, you know, bad stuff will happen to you, but the one thing is if you give up on yourself, you're giving up on everything because the only person that can stop you is you, right? It's very deep, very deep. Yeah. I know, I get deep into it, like it's the deep end. But anyways, okay. Now this one's gonna touch more about your life. Yeah. What's the most iconic thing in your past throughout your life? Like what is something iconic that happened to you that is still with you as an adult? Because now we know how old you are.
Okay.
Okay.
I have this like.
If you have more than one, we're hey, so it's okay.
No, for sure. I have this thing of not giving up. You know, like I've never really given up in my life.
You're not a quitter.
I don't give up. No matter how hard and drastic and sad things might get. I don't think I've ever really given up. Like I'll take a break sometimes. I got to take a step back and like, you know, catch a breath or reflect and see how my role in a situation maybe has played out or my interactions or how someone has made me feel. But like, you know, for relationships, for an example, like if a relationship doesn't work out, I'm not going to be like,
you don't dwell on it in a sense?
No, I dwell sometimes, but I'm not going to be like F love and never believe in love again.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of like
not become jaded.
Yeah. So I have like this weird, I won't say a philosophy, but it's the way I think. And my girlfriend knows like this, like even if I was in a long-term relationship, right? I'll be sad about it because
8 years. Congrats. Man.
Oh yeah. Don't even sometimes feels longer. You know, it's serious is when after 1 year, you feel like it's been more. And then when you get to like a higher year, you just see like, really? Because I'll tell you right now, her brother puts me to shame. He's been engaged with his I call it's his wife.
It's his wife.
Yeah, it's his wife. Like for 16, 17 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Oh God, they've known each other longer, right? Yeah. So, but anyways, that's neither here or there. But yeah, that I feel like that right there is also like a quality that you learn to like finding yourself. And this kind of leads to, maybe this is something that can lead to your personality. But the next question that I always have is, what is something you do that's iconic that you do? So I'll give you an example. So for me, when I say iconic, like something you do iconic, where it's just like you do something, and then that's like that's something Arys does.
Yes.
Right? So for me,
like something unique to...
Oh yeah, so as an example, I said this in my previous episode. When I sneeze, I say the word achoo. And I'm very loud. Yeah. Like I could vibrate a room with my sneeze. Like I could scare people with my sneeze. So there's that, and the fact that like I sneeze in 3s and 7s. Very specific, but I've counted because I was curious at one point and I was bored. So that is something I do that's very like iconic. That like people know me for being that. Do you have something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Hit me with
my
it.
manners.
Your manners. Oh, you're a proper.
Very respectful.
So when someone's so if I was to go to a person that knows you and be like, what's something that like reminds you of Arys? They'll be like manners. Like he's very polite.
Polite, yeah.
Polite.
I'm a nice person. Like but I'm not saying like I'm the nicest person, but I think when it comes to even for my own enemy, I'll be respectful.
So you have like a hot like.
I will say hello. I will not pretend like someone doesn't exist.
Yeah,
unless I know that they're not going to be reciprocal. So for an example, I could walk in a room full of wolves and I'll still say hi to them because I know they'll say hi back, even if I know for a fact they don't like me. But when I know someone is deliberately avoiding me,
you know when to step away.
I know when to avoid that person.
So I can respect that.
Stay in my own zone.
Yeah, I can respect that. For me personally,
but holding the door for people, bless you to strangers. Thank you, you're welcome.
I think
foundational things.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And if that's something that like
please.
Yeah. You know how many? I think it's like a Canadian thing. We're like way too nice.
I don't know. I think that it's lost now. A lot of people don't have manners anymore.
Dude, I've gotten.
You don't agree?
It's like 50-50 with me. I think it's like a generational thing.
True.
Right?
Very true.
I think it's a generational thing, and it's like I think
the biggest pet peeve is like when you ask someone how are you, and they just say I'm good. They don't say I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, like, so like you're like
send it back.
Send the energy back.
Yeah, reciprocate.
Right? I could understand that. Yeah, I do. But sometimes I've met people where like I'll say like how are you and stuff like that, and like they'll be like I'm okay. Be like, but I guess you could say for me personally, a lot of people say I'm more like an empath, if I'm saying this right. I can like tell when something is wrong with that person. And I don't know if it's a talent. I don't know if it's a habit. I think it's part of my girlfriend's diagnosis of me being ADHD. Let's just go with it. I'm just very like, I'll look at someone and then just like, I might not understand what they're feeling, but I will know when someone's feeling sad or like being stressed.
Like something is off.
Yeah, like just by like watching them, and as weird as that sounds.
Observing.
Yeah. So I'll respect you on the manners thing because, manners, I think now these days is like lost. Some of these new generations, personally for me, is like a little rude, but
very rude.
Yeah.
I'm going to say very rude. I don't know. There's just like a lot. I find that there's more miserable people than happy sometimes. Like I'll come across a lot of people that are just like, they're already in a bad mood or something, or they're just... they don't like, let's say you go and you're going somewhere and you go to buy something, right? Like, I'm coming to you for a service. Why are you upset? I didn't force you to work here.
Yeah.
You applied to this job, not me.
You know what? It's like one of those things where it's just like, in customer service, there's like this saying, you know how like they say like the customer's always right or whatever? And I've been into customer service in a long time, for a very long time. And I can agree to that to a certain extent. Yeah. Right? If like, as an example, if you work at a shoe store, right? And you ask me like, you have like problems like standing and stuff like that, I will give you the knowledge that I know that what you should do. But then like when you try to attack me in the sense of like, no, that's wrong. And I'm just like, you're really going to talk to the guy who sells shoes.
The expert,
Yeah. I won't say expert because I feel like it's like, it takes like, they say it takes 10,000 hours to be a master of whatever you're doing, right? Even working as part-time, I don't think you ever become a master at something because you're constantly learning.
Facts. Right? I agree with that.
All right. So
I don't think I think we shouldn't even aim to be masters. Like, I don't like the term master because that's like, I think of slavery when I hear that, right? Like we should be like a master of none. Like, well, this is like a wise man knows they know nothing.
Well, it's like the expression.
And when you're okay with knowing nothing, not to cut you off, but like you free yourself. When you're okay, not feeling like, oh, I know this more than anybody else. There's no such thing as the smartest.
So I don't know if you ever heard it say, a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
For sure.
That is like something that like, that's like, I would say like, that is like the definition of my father for like, I won't say his work ethic, but when he tries to do anything. Like, obviously my father is into construction. Like, he can literally like put up drywall, all those things, right? Where like, honestly, he knows so much, but he hasn't truly mastered any of them. Like, he can't, like all this thing about being like certified and stuff like that, right? Like, I've met people that don't even know what a power drill is, right? Like, it's mind baffling, right? So I feel like that kind of like is a thing, and I do agree with you in the sense. But when I say, I won't say master, I'm trying to figure out a great word, but like I would say more of like a sage, right? Like
master. Let's remove the terms master, expert, and input sage. I like that. Yeah,
and because like that expression, like a sage wisdom,
for sure,
right? And I've always said like I've had like a weird way of like giving people advice.
Yes.
So that's like so I would say like like having sage wisdom within your craft.
Yes.
Right.
Within your craft.
Right. Like I do understand when people say like I mastered my craft. I get that.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think you ever do though. Can you master something? It's just ongoing. It never stops.
So
you keep refining and keep finding ways to.
I think when it's
it differently.
When I think like for me, how I see this. So when like say as an example, I'll use this as an example. When a rapper says they mastered their craft, that means that in whatever situation that comes into the type of music they do, they can immediately respond to it.
Okay.
No matter what it is. Right?
Okay.
And I see it like that. But I do feel like there should be like a new word that we do use. Because sometimes,
it's limiting. When you become a master of something, then where do you go next with that same thing? Your craft should be ever evolving.
Yeah.
How you learn it, how you refine it and reshape it.
You know what?
I don't want to master anything.
In the great words of Bruce Lee.
Be like water?
Be like water. I love that. I as weird as that sounds, be like water. Become the cup. Right? Yeah. Be ever flowing and be flexible. Yeah. But it's like one of those things when it comes to language. Language is like one of those things that are very confusing. And it's like one of those things that makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Always.
Right?
Especially
because
the English
every
language.
word, I feel like no matter how you look at it, has a double meaning.
1000.
Right? So, Arys, let's see if you know some people that know you. What do you think people know you when they, like, if you were to have your opinion about it, what is iconic to you, to them? Like as an example, you said to you, what's iconic to you is like you're very polite, you have manners, you're very respectful, you hold yourself to a certain degree.
Yes.
So if I was to go to one of your friends and be like, there's this thing that Arys does that's like even more iconic than that, what do you think it is?
Man, I don't think.
Come on, you gotta have like a social standing.
I don't think you could go to one of my friends and ask that because I don't think they know me too well like that. Mm-hmm. I think if you ask maybe family or
if we were
relationships, people like
when I ask this, I just mean this as like
people who know me. Yeah.
It could be friends.
What they would say about me.
Mm-hmm.
I would think they would say. I could be emotional. I could be a bit emotional. I do everything with emotion. There's nothing I don't do. It's all about my feelings, how I feel about something.
So would you say that dictates your choices sometimes?
At times.
That's not, see, I feel like that's, trust me, because if my girlfriend was here right now, she would bring up the whole, like the fact that like I'm a Cancer and like we're emotional creatures.
And how do you respond to that?
I respond to it like this. I'm like, do you really want to piss off the ocean? Like, let's be honest. I might be a crab, but I could be in water and I'll be fine.
Yes.
So I just view it as like, sometimes the emotions get better of you is one thing. And as I'm learning, as I get older, I notice that as I get older, it becomes harder not to get angry at shit. And I say this because a lot of stuff sets me off. And I'm working on it, right? I feel like even when you become 60 years old, you're still learning about yourself.
Facts.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. We never master ourselves. So how could we master anything?
It's like, was it a famous samurai that said this? Even if you truly master a blade, the true mastery of blade is mastering within yourself. And that is something that is so hard. Right? And
where does your anger come from? Would you say?
I will tell you right now, it is from several things. Because I'm the type of person that builds up all the anger. And obviously touching with a little more personal stuff, like, you know, getting bullied a lot. And when I say bully, like, teasing honestly helps build thick skin. So I always say to people, if you allow words to hurt you, and words do hurt,
they do.
But I feel like we give words power.
We do.
Right? And if you give in to a word, you're giving that word power to you as a person. Right? And I say this, I've been called so many things by males and females alike.
Yeah.
So just to put it out there, I got picked on by girls too. And I'm talking about like some harsh stuff, right?
So wait, go back. So you said, because I don't know if you said that correctly. You said when you give power to words, you are giving what?
Power to the word itself. So like as an example, also allowing that
to the person.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, what I'm trying to say is like, so...
I've been bullied by girls.
Oh yeah,
so, you know, we get picked on.
That's whatever.
Yeah.
So like, you know, being called like a nerd, a dork, four eyes. Like
I try not to genderize it. I try to think like they're just people. Like whether the bullying came from a girl or a guy,
so
that person's an a-hole.
Oh yeah, extreme.
Whether they're a girl or a guy.
Yeah.
So a-holes are a-holes.
No,
so
for me, So for me, it's like it was like fair game for everybody. Exactly, right? At that particular time, I got picked on by both.
Yeah.
Types of people.
For sure.
Right. So it comes down to, I would say, I won't say resentment, but it was a lot of times where it's like I should have stood up for myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't. And it took an extreme situation for me to snap and then find out what I'm truly capable of and why people shouldn't pick on people. And because you don't know what people are truly capable of when they snap.
Yes.
Because in the laws of science, everything in this universe has a breaking point. Right? Like the shiniest diamond can break under the amount of pressure it has. That's how diamonds are formed. Any more pressure, it will crack. Right? So it's like one of those things. And yeah, I think that is something that we both have in common, you know, growing up like that. And like now how being into comic books and all that stuff is normal.
Yeah.
But
I love our conversations that we have at the shop, man.
Oh, they're like deep. They're like deep conversations with arguments on top of that.
I feel like the combos that happen at the shop, it really is like, I know sometimes I'll make a joke and be like, yo, this is a safe space. Like when we're all picking on each other.
Well, it
truly is though.
I'm going to be honest with you. I look forward to coming on Thursdays because it's therapeutic for me.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Right. And
it's a
like,
form of therapy.
And I say to my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm going to therapy. Like she already knows,
facts,
and she's like, all right, cool.
Yep.
And then it's just like, no, I don't have to. Like,
it's like
I do agree that people do need to talk to a therapist, but I feel like you should also
have other outlets.
Yeah, because honestly, coming to you guys, sometimes even talking about like whatever it is, it doesn't even need to be like comic book stuff, right? Just having conversations, right?
Yeah.
And you know, learning more about each other and like, you know, how we're more alike than the next person, right?
I would also say that like something someone would say about me is that I'm pretty calm. Like I'm not a person who
see, I find that a little hard to believe since you
guys see a different
I
side.
see you look like the hype man. You're like the wing guy that's be like, I'm going to get my friend.
But it depends on who I'm around. I'm very selective. Like you guys see.
So would you say the version that you show us is your true self?
It's one of them. I don't think we have just one true self, you know? I think it's based on the environment where you feel most comfortable and what's of interest to you in that moment. Like you guys, I can't express my geek or my inner nerd or just like my childlike self around everyone. But I get to do it around you guys.
Yeah.
So that's like, a part of my true self because they're different facets to us, right?
I feel like a lot growing up, I feel like the fact that like you get older as a person, and I noticed that the people who are not in touch with their inner child become older a lot too quicker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should still be in touch with that.
They lose their child.
Yeah. And because like, I feel like, you know, when you do become a parent, I feel like you know, you obviously you protect your kids and all that stuff, but like you should be in tune with your inner child so you can understand where your kid's coming from sometimes.
1000%. Right? Because you're never too old to be a kid.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know why society did that to us. We're like, oh, we're adults now, so forget
Honestly,
about...
I could tell society go fly a kite.
But we focus so much now.
And that's the sad thing about that.
But like nowadays, there's this thing, like we focus so much on healing your inner child. I don't give a shit about my inner child being healed. Like, let that man live. Like, he had his time. I'm here. I'm still connected with that individual. That version of myself.
I think what it is when they talk about healing your inner child is like, if you have like trauma and stuff like that, and you like, obviously that's a deeper conversation, right? Especially if you've gone through some shit as a kid, right?
But we all have.
Yeah, and if you need to work through it, I completely agree with it. But
what about healing yourself now, like the version you are today? Why do you have to go back and heal that version of you in order to function today? You're gonna be so far behind with the stuff you need to heal on today.
You know what? It's like the saying that all cuts heal.
I really don't like that. Sitting in this car, we've seen girls everywhere. Like, I don't like...
Do you want to move? It's not my fault. You chose this, my guy.
I just want to speak to someone, but... God damn.
You know I'm not editing this out, right?
It's so like... Fuck, man. Like, I'm always here. I don't see girls. The one day I'm confined to my car with you...
I will tell you right now, it's because of me. I am a magnet.
You're the wingman?
Oh, dude, I'll tell you right now. The funniest moment I've had was with one of my gay friends. And like, he was coming out, and I said to him, I'm like, dude, worst case scenario, I get with the sister, you get with the brother. So we're gonna do this.
We should go out then.
Oh God.
Does your girl have friends, bro?
No, she does not.
I'm cheesed.
Well, she has friends that are like, I would say, are either in relationships, or I wouldn't do that to you as my friend. Like, you already don't have that a lot of gray hair. I'm not trying to get you bald right now.
You're killing.
Right? I'm not trying to get you alopecia.
I appreciate that.
No worries.
That's a true friend.
Oh yeah.
Gentleman and a scholar, man.
Oh God.
What we got?
Okay, so I'm gonna, because we kind of tapped into that one question.
Yeah.
Okay, what, in your opinion, makes something iconic?
Honesty.
So remember, this is a broad question.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, so you believe in honesty, it can make something iconic.
Something that is just in its truest form. I feel like, an individual, what I consider to be iconic, or what can make someone, I don't know why the form of a person came to mind first, but I really respect and hold people in high regard when they're just really honest and not afraid to
just, speak the truth.
But be respectful with it. Not hurt people while you're doing that, or not being rude or disrespectful, or like attitude, like you're on this higher ground. There's a way to like set people straight, or like stick up for yourself without hurting someone else. Yeah, and I hold that.
You know what? I will agree with you. Sometimes that's a little, speaking the truth, sometimes it will hurt someone.
Yeah.
But if you have the ability to say it in a way where it's just like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
This, and this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can respect that. I kind of agree with you on that. I respect that.
That's what I would say, Someone who's just being like not afraid to be themselves, like your true self.
That's something I talked about in my previous episode, where my guest was saying is just like, it is very hard to find your true self. And I do agree with it. It takes work, right? Sometimes, you got to work on yourself before you like jump into anything like relationships or even hobbies and stuff like that. If you truly do not know yourself, right? Like with anything you need, I feel like learning certain things, like, having disciplines, or like, having restraints, knowing when to stop, or, if you're like very stubborn, like when to actually be like, I'm pushing it too far. Right. And, that is something very hard. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that kind of thing. But
I feel like they don't know that they're supposed to have that. Like, I don't think a lot of people think about finding themselves, figuring themselves out. They're so focused and distracted on other things.
It just reminded me of something of a comedian said that, like, if you were to say this to like an old school European, like father, it's like, I'm going to go find myself to travel the world. It's like, the response is like, no. It's like, what are you talking about? I found you. You're here. It's like, what do you mean you got to find yourself? You're right here. Yeah. Right. And it's just like funny, like bringing that up.
Like,
right?
This kid's trying to find himself right now. He's been standing there, not in his phone. He came back. He keeps looking up and down. He's been at this corner for like almost 20 minutes. I don't know what he's doing. He left and came back.
He's with a dog, my guy.
He's with a dog?
Yeah. What's that? I don't know if that's a bag or a dog.
No, that's not a dog, man. He's by himself. He's been standing there for a minute. He looks like he's just trying to find himself,
Hey, everyone's trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to get into a little bit of a nerdy kind of next question.
Right.
What superhero, I don't even need to look in the book, I already know it because we're going to get into this. What superhero to you is iconic? And iconic is going to be the word of the day, like I always say.
That's our theme today? Iconic.
Dude, it's been the theme. It's the whole thing about this podcast.
It would have to be,
I don't know. I'm asking for you.
It would have to be Batman.
You say Batman?
1000%.
Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne, Terry McGinnis.
You know what?
Batman Beyond.
Okay, bringing that
all
up.
Iconic,
that Batman Beyond old cartoon show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That show was hard as hell.
Still is.
I bought that thing when it came out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I gotta put respect on that. And you know what? It was cool to see someone else take the mantle that in a way wasn't part of the Bat family.
Yeah.
But suffered the same kind of trauma.
Yeah.
And old Bruce Wayne in that show and him being the man on the chair, I feel like he was more scary as an old man than he was as Batman. Because I remember, I don't know if you remember the Justice League TV show where they did the episode where they travel back in time and like young Batman meets old Batman, and then like they go interrogate like the new Scarecrow, and then the old Batman is like,
I thought you were going to reference the episode when they find out like he's his dad.
Oh no, that's the end. That was the end. Yeah, it's like some weird
part 1, part 2 episode.
Yeah, the episode I'm talking about is pretty much like the whole timeline kind of gets wonky.
Yeah,
and the young the Justice League comes to the future and meets like the last bit of superheroes.
Oh, I need to watch that episode.
Oh yeah, just search up old Bruce Wayne and then Batman.
Was that the Justice League Unlimited show?
Yeah, that was part of that show. And then like Terry is like, Batman meet Bruce Wayne meet Batman. And then like they're in sync and they shut up. So like they're trying to find a guy who's like a time traveler and he's like messing with the timeline. And then they find like Scarecrow, like their version of Scarecrow, right? And then Batman holds him by the leg over a ledge. He's like, tell me what I want to know. He's like, my arm's getting tired. And then he's like freaking out. And then old Batman is like, I can't believe I used to be so green. Man pulls Scarecrow into the edge and he's like, this is how you interrogate someone. They don't even show it. You just see an old man doing the Batman coming above you pose with a cane. And this guy spilled his guts. Told him he peed his bed, how many people work under the thing. I'm like, what did this man say? Like, Batman is like one of those things. And I think that like, someone that iconic. And I feel like a lot of people, because he also doesn't have superpowers. And I just think how the character was written also brings like a valid thing. So I can't agree with you. You kind of went with the generic one, but I
have the symbol tatted on my chest.
Do you really?
That character means more to me than just like.
God damn, that you're dedicated at that point. The only thing I would say.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the only thing comic book stuff that I have is the one on my forearm, which is the original 6 symbol, which a lot of people don't know this. And then I have a Venom and Carnage tattoo on my calf, which I will say.
What are the original 6 again?
The original 6, which is like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America. So like this symbol represents, like you can see, like I will show you.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah,
so Captain America, Hulk.
Yeah, and then
Iron Man,
Thor, Hawkeye, Black Widow. Yeah, those original 6.
Okay,
but yeah, and then I have a Venom and Carnage tattoo on my calf, which I will say, if you're ever gonna get a calf tattoo, it's going to hurt.
Okay.
You won't take a week off work if you get it. But yeah, no. So moving along to the next question, because it's a little dark. Okay, what TV show was iconic to you in your childhood? You got to pick one though.
One.
Like if you're picking a top 3, which one's taking 1? Or top 5, whatever. You know what I mean.
Shoot. 1? That's so hard, but I would say Power Rangers.
You want to go Power Rangers?
Let's go
first Power Rangers. I can respect that. My other co-host said the same thing too. All right. So, Arys, I don't know. Are you an anime fan?
No.
You're not an anime fan?
No, unless you're talking about the old school, like Sailor Moon, Monster Rancher, Digimon.
Oh, don't even get me started on Digimon. I'm like the Digimon master.
That's like the old school stuff.
Okay,
for me, or like Samurai Pizza Cats.
That's more cartoonish, but I'm not sure if it was like a Japanese.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I can respect that. Okay, all right, we'll skip that one.
Thank you.
But
I'm not.
Okay, we're probably gonna have more of a discussion with this. Okay, what superpower to you? Is iconic? Like when I say superpower to you, what's the first power that comes to your head?
Teleportation.
Are we talking about like are we talking about like Nightcrawler teleportation, or are we talking about like I think of a place I can be there instantly?
Like Jumper. Remember the movie Jumper?
Oh my God.
Hayden Christensen?
Jesus, I haven't. It's been a while since I watched that movie, my guy.
That movie's amazing. It's so underrated.
I will give you that. It was a very unique concept.
Yeah.
Want to know what's another one?
Which one? Push?
I was literally thinking that, my guy. You were just reading my head.
Same wavelength.
You know,
Push was crazy too.
So you want to know what's another power that I think is iconic but very underrated?
Tell me.
And I feel like people feel like it's kind of stupid, but just being extremely smart. And when I say this, like it sounds stupid, but ironically, but like when I mean like this, I mean like, do you remember the TV show Static Shock?
Of course.
Okay, you remember Virgil's best friend who becomes?
No, oh my God! I remember the show, but I don't remember.
Okay, so his best friend.
I just remember Static.
Yeah, so his best friend actually becomes a superhero with him, becomes his partner. Or I won't say his sidekick, because he ended up creating some of the stuff he uses with his powers.
Okay.
And he didn't realize it, right? And it wasn't that he was smart. He was able to analyze whatever was in front of him and then just do it. So it's kind of like Forge's powers from the X-Men, where if he dreams about it or thinks it, he can create it. But him, it's like if he was given an old language, he would be like, I can crack this. That's just it. Like if I want to build a robot in a scrapyard, I can do it.
Yes.
Like I just feel like it's such an underrated and such an iconic power.
Yes.
And I feel like it could be tapped in a little bit more.
Yes.
Because like, as an example, like we'll look at Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Right? This guy tries to kill Superman every other day of the week, right? Yeah. And then when we had the movie, I
still don't know why.
Lex has a power complex. That's literally what I think.
God complex.
That too. But also, I think he's also jealous because Superman has all this power and he doesn't do what needs to be done.
He does, yeah.
Right? Because I remember, I don't know if you ever watched the movie, I do recommend it. It's called Superman All-Star.
I did, but I don't remember.
Okay, so Lex finds out that Superman created a serum for humans to temporarily be Kryptonian, whatever you want to call it. So he did it, drank it, and he started seeing the world through Superman's eyes, right? And then he's intoxicated with the power. But then he realizes that, like, Superman tells him, is like, you know, seeing like this, you think you could fix the world's problems. But he's just like, you know, with the amount of effort you put into trying to kill me, you could have saved thousands of lives. Like, he's like, you could have cured cancer. And then he comes to a realization that it's like, I'm the smartest fucking dude, and pardon my language, but I put all my energy into this. Yeah. Right? So like, I feel like, you know, the power of being smart, or just having the ability intelligence is so underrated.
Yes.
Because like you do not know truly how powerful the mind could be. And it's like that movie Limitless, where
Limitless,
that pill, I think it was a placebo effect, but anyways,
Yes.
it just taps into that potential of like what's in your mind.
Yes.
So is there any other superpowers you think besides teleportation? What's like, okay, so if teleportation is your number one, what's your number two?
I would say like, I'm gonna say healing, but not just like healing from like a cut or being like, like mauled or something.
Are we talking about like Deadpool healing, like an absurd?
I mean, like, I think even healing from feelings or feeling like brokenhearted and stuff would be dope. Like you could heal internally, mentally.
So like you're saying like being
physically,
like you can control.
Layers.
Like you're being like an empath with your emotions, and you can heal from
redirect.
Yeah.
You think we can? We can already. We just don't tap into it.
I think you want to know what it is?
Power like that?
Oh, I feel like we have that power within ourselves, but because I feel like we have these like blocks where we put on ourselves, where it's like, when it's like, what's that saying? When someone passes away, you go through like the stages of grief, right? And I feel like that's what we do to ourselves to heal. It's a slower process, but I feel like I can tell you from my personal experience, because I've experienced that so much. I know what to feel, how to feel it, be within it, and it's a quicker process, right? It like for some people it seems heartless, but I just feel like because like, again, I'm gonna say like I know I wouldn't master it, but I know the steps that I have to take to get through it.
Yes.
Right, and because I know myself and what I feel in that particular situation, then yes, I think we do have the power to do that. I won't say like, it's not a superpower in a sense, but it's a power within itself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's a very great one. So what would be your third one?
Third one, I would say something that will allow you to connect like to the earth and the animals and the insects.
So you mean like, so are we talking about like true connection with the planet itself? Like kind of like with Mother Nature, but on nature, like just as in general.
Yeah, with the ocean, with the air, like
you could feel what the earth feels in a sense.
Feeling it and like speaking with animals without speaking with them, like
you just know what they're feeling
with them, like you're one, they got your back if you need to call them, The
man's gonna have like a flock of crows and ravens.
The way Storm is connected to the weather, like you could be connected with the trees and the squirrels. And
I also feel like she's also connected to the earth itself, right? Because I feel like she could cause like Earth,
she's Mother Earth.
Yeah, she's that's why Forge refers to her as a goddess in a sense. She's going through. Hey, respect. We got to put some respect on Storm.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Being one, I feel like being one with the planet itself, right? So like that's a good one. Honestly, another one that I feel I will kind of like relate it to Green Lantern, making constructs, right?
What about just willpower in general? That's a superpower.
Oh yeah, to have the will to keep moving.
The green represents that, right? So
Well, here's the thing. What I mean by constructs is like using your emotions to create a construct itself.
For sure.
Right? Like as an example, the more you have an attachment to, like, say as an example, like I create a giant robot, but that robot is like the toy robot my father gave me. So the will for this thing to be like indestructible, because it's like I have that emotional connection with it, right? And when I mean constructs, like even using like the earth itself or using wood and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a very interesting power that doesn't get touched on a little bit.
I like that as well.
And I feel like, Green Lantern's a little underrated, but I like the other lanterns. Like my favorite lantern is red.
Red,
and
what does red represent again?
Rage.
Why would you like that? Because of anger?
Yeah, and I feel like the fact that I have a power that allows...
What about the yellow? Sinistrals, what is...
that is fear.
Fear, yeah, I don't like that.
Well, it's better than orange.
Which is?
Greed. Or,
really?
Yeah, I call it
greed. What's the
purple one? Purple?
Love?
No.
The pink one
is love. Is compassion. But they're also... It's like a sentient being that feeds off you, so that's like a whole parasite thing. Yeah, that's a whole goddamn thing. Blue is hope, which I like is another.
That's good. Yeah.
Blue is like a very like underrated one, to be completely honest. That I think.
White lanterns.
They're life itself, and then black lanterns are death. This guy kisses his teeth.
I didn't know there were such negative lanterns. Majority of them are negative.
Do you think rage is negative?
Yeah, what good is rage for? To be rageful, like towards who and what?
It depends on your situation. It's the same thing.
You shouldn't be in that situation if it makes you rage.
So here's a question.
Or
what about love?
Person.
Can love?
I mean, yeah, love makes people do crazy things and rage, vengeful things even. But if it's channeled right.
So I'll counter you. Will can be just as negative.
Willpower?
Yes.
Why you say that?
So let's just say someone does something to you. Yes. And you have the will to do something that you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Right? So in a way, that's kind of contradictory, right? Mm-hmm. This also brings on to the other emotions of, bringing up fear, putting the fear of your will that you're not going to give up,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So like as a great example, like...
So you think it all has two sides to it?
Everything has two sides to it. Rage is something that can be controlled if it's done and channeled correctly, right? You can turn your rage into focus, right? Which is a great saying that I kind of follow, like, because I try to, anytime that I usually get upset, I usually kind of go with like, how can I turn this anger that I have into focus? And sometimes, hitting a bag is one way, right? To get that frustration out. So, and it's the same thing with love. Love, like you said, love can make you do stupid things too, So it's like it's one of those things you gotta,
This is deeper than I thought, man.
Oh yeah,
I hope you don't think I underestimated our conversation. I did think it was going to be more comic book stuff related.
Oh no.
I'm glad that we're going deep today because I'm a deep guy.
Oh yeah, you're very.
They would say that about me too. I'm deep.
Yeah, that's your iconic trait. I don't know, like with me, with any conversation, it could be comic book related, and
we still tie it back to like
because
some depth, yeah.
I'm so, I won't say influenced by comics or like stuff, but I take a lot of like lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
Right. It's like one of those things where it's just like, like we'll use this as an example, like Superman, right? He is this omnipotent being, right? But he came from humble beginnings. He came from a farmer, and they even told him, it's like, yo, we know you're special, but you got to understand that, like,
be humble.
Be humble, but also like understand that, like, some people might either take advantage of you or won't understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean? And I feel like the fact that he had such a humble upbringing, when people see him as the symbol of hope, right? And the dude was raised in Kansas. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this guy's parents are like the saints of like DC Comics. No one's touching his parents, and like, dude, they even adopted Martian Manhunter in like the show. It's like Clark brought him for Christmas. They're like, bro, we got you a sweater. And they even shared stories of like how Clark had to use his X-ray vision to look under the gifts. And it's like, I had to put like aluminum foil or whatever he can't see through. And then Clark does a little jab at his dad and being like, you mean Santa did that? And be like, just like that inner kid and stuff like that. And the fact that he had that made him more human. Yeah. Right. And this is the thing where I feel like Superman, because he has like all this, but he was humanized because of his parents. And like, that's what makes him, I guess, a lot of people drawn to him. But also bringing up like, say his opposite, which would be Batman. Yeah. Right. People who draw into Batman is like, we don't have power. Right. But you can train and then like have like the will to keep, taking the hits and keep moving forward. And let's be honest, Batman's getting his butt whooped 90% of his time. Yeah. Right. And he's the type of person to learn from his mistakes and stuff like that.
Yes.
So,
I agree.
Yeah. So I think we're going to, kind of end the episode like that. Yeah. All right, Arys. But yeah, before we go, Arys, how can people get a hold of more of you, my good friend?
I would say, connect with me just online at Only One Arys or at Who How Club, which is the platform for the Who and How Club podcast. We have episodes come out, once every couple weeks. We don't try to flood it. We believe in quality over quantity,
which is pretty good. And because you do have quite a few episodes. I just recently I haven't listened to your recent one, but when I first found out about it, I did started listening to it.
I do appreciate your support. You're always bringing it up, and being.
I'm the type of dude that if my friend is doing something, I will support it with 100% of my ability.
That means a lot to me, and I'll support you too. And
thank you. I appreciate it.
Me being on today's show, like. If I'm a bit quiet, it's because a lot of the things you're saying, I'm taking it in. I think our conversation was needed today. I needed to hear it and I needed to have it. Like you said, when we go to this shop, it's like therapy. I consider this session not just an episode of your show, but it was a therapy session for me too.
Yeah. On the house, my guy.
That, yeah.
On the house. I won't charge you. I'll charge
No
you.
charge.
Next one, you got to buy me a nice coffee.
I got you. Well, I hope someone can learn from our conversation today.
Hey, I feel like, if people can learn from the conversations that I've had and maybe, be inspired to do that, that will bring me more joy than making money in a sense. I believe in sometimes a helping hand's better. Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you want to,
I'm honored, man.
Yeah, no worries. Again, thank you for coming because this was
episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3.
I hope this isn't the only.
No, we could. I will bring you on more.
Please
multiple,
do.
Yeah, it's just
Let's talk shop. Let's talk. Episodes of
just
shows.
one thing you truly got to work on that I know that's something iconic to you. Messaging you is like messaging Jesus. Sometimes you got to be a little better than
I'll
that.
be honest, man. I'm really trying to disconnect from Instagram. I'm trying.
All right, so you need to. As weird as this sounds, you need to text me.
I gotta get you. Give me my number.
Yes, we gotta text each other because getting a hold of you is like.
Yeah,
Jesus on Easter.
I don't even like it on there anymore. I'm good. I could live without it.
No, hey, to each their own. But so guys, if you want to get a hold of Arys, he does have an Instagram. But also subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is the Who and How Club.
Yes.
Subscribe to him. Don't forget to hit the bell to get all his iconic videos. That's my kind of toucan palm.
Yeah.
But
at Who How Club on all
that too, and I'll be posting this on my YouTube channel. Going to be tagging him if you guys want an easier way to do it. I'll make it as easy and accessible to you guys. But also give him a listen on Spotify too. He's on that too. Are you on any other platform?
all podcast platforms. You can find the show anywhere. Just the Who and How Club everywhere, or just go to my page at Only One Arys and you'll find the links there.
All right, but guys, we're gonna call it a day with this episode. Thank you for listening. This is your boy IconNick
yes, sir.
And Arys going out.
Yes, sir.